called the MiTN Transparency Network, or MiTN. My name is Kara Reed. I'm an analyst with the
This
Bureau of
conference is being
Elections,
recorded.
and I'll be your presenter today. Joining me from the Bureau are several colleagues. First, we have our Director for the Filing and Disclosure and Compliance section, Bob Burns. Heidi Lowen, our Manager for Personal Financial and Lobby Disclosure section. Sarah Hamlin, my co-analyst, and Bill Azelton, our departmental technician. Thank you so much for joining us today. Before we begin, a few things that you need to know. This training is focused around Michigan Transparency Network and will not be an exhaustive training on the Lobby Registration Act or lobby rules. Please note the Bureau of Elections will facilitate additional trainings which will focus on statutory filing requirements. Also, please add any questions you have into the chat. If we are not able to answer a question you have, please email us directly at financialdisclosure@michigan.gov. Finally, this webinar is being recorded and will be added to the lobby homepage. I am very excited to present to you today the Michigan Transparency Network. This is a one-stop platform for Michigan residents and the regulated community to find, prepare, and submit filings. The system has multiple modules, including campaign finance disclosure, personal financial disclosure, casino interest registration, defense, legal defense funds, and the lobby module, which is the focus of our presentation today. I will be demonstrating how to use MiTN for all lobbyists and lobbyist agent reporting. The topics we will review today include how to create a login account, how to add MiTN to your My Login dashboard, step you through using the new MiTN lobby platform for all parts of the registration process, including how to amend a registration, how to submit an access request. We will then go through the filing process to show how to submit the required winter and summer financial reports and how to amend the filing. We will end today showing how to terminate a lobby registration. Please know question and answer opportunities will follow after the presentation. Now, I'm excited to begin, and we will start with My Login. To access the MiTN platform, everyone must first have their own My Login account with the state of Michigan. My Login is a statewide online portal that connects users to state of Michigan services through one single user ID. This portal is supported by all major web browsers, including but not limited to Chrome, Edge, Firefox, and Safari. You will need either a My Login for Citizens or a My Login for Business account, from which you will then load the MiTN application onto your My Login dashboard. Please note that the steps work the same whether you use My Login for Citizens or My Login for Business. Most individual people will likely want to choose the My Login for Citizens options, as this will be the best option for most people who already have a My Login. But if you're a business or organization, or if you're an out-of-state individual, you will need to use the My Login for Business platform to log in. One point of caution I cannot stress enough is if you have a My Login Citizen account and you choose to create a My Login Business account, you need to understand that you cannot hop back and forth between the portals to access MiTN, because MiTN will view you as a different entity. That's why we strongly recommend using My Login for Citizen to avoid any potential confusion. Please also be aware that My Login is a statewide platform through DTMB and is not a part of the BOE's new MiTN platform. My Login has its own helplines if you get stuck or need specific guidance. We are providing the number to their help desk during this webinar, in our online MiTN lobby manual, and on the lobby homepage. Once you determine which My Login platform, you will then complete the 8-step process to create your account. Please note you will need to provide a unique and verifiable email address during the sign-up process. Your email address will be verified by sending a one-time password or an OTP. You will have to enter the OTP during the sign up process, so please make sure you have access to the email address you enter. If you have never registered for an account through MyLogin, you will start the process by clicking Create an Account. You're going to enter your email address. If you don't have an email address, there are a number of email providers, including Gmail, Yahoo, and Microsoft Live Hotmail, who provide an email address and service at no cost. These are commercial provider organizations and are not affiliated with the state of Michigan. Please note your email messages will not be stored on state of Michigan systems. The next step will be entering the passcode that is sent to the email you provided. There is a resend passcode button if you do not receive the email. You then enter your personal information to create your profile, then agree to the terms and conditions, click Next Step. The fourth step in creating your MyLogin is adding a phone number. This is a step you can skip, but is a recommended feature for enhanced security of your login. So click Next Step after entering your phone number or select Skip this for now. You will now create your user ID. There are guidelines for successfully creating this ID. If you are missing any requirement, it will stay orange and will turn green when all requirements are met. Once your user ID is created, you will then click Next Step and create your password. There are password guidelines that need to be met for a password to be accepted, and just like the user ID, all requirements of the password must be green to move forward in the process. Yay! This is the screen you see once you've created your MyLogin account. This is called your MyLogin dashboard. If you've previously used MyLogin to access other state services, you might see some application links already populated on the left side of the dashboard, like you see on mine. But if you have not previously created a MyLogin account, it will be completely blank on the left and only showing the Discover Online Services box to the right. The first time a MiTN filer visits the MyLogin home screen, they will need to add MiTN to their MyLogin dashboard. Like I mentioned, the steps to access MiTN are the same, whether you are using MyLogin for Citizen or for Business. So we will begin by clicking Find Services. From here, there are two ways to search for the MiTN application. First, you can use the Search for Services box. Begin typing Michigan Transparency Network until you see it appear below the box and then select it from the drop-down list. The other way to search is scrolling down the screen to filter by department and check the box next to Michigan Secretary of State SOS. On the right side of the screen, you will now see a list of all online services available by the Department of State. Locate and click on Michigan Transparency Network. Read and agree to the terms and conditions and click Request Service. You will now be instructed to complete a two-factor authorization step to verify your MyLogin credentials. This is set up based on the method of authorization you chose when you created your MyLogin account. Once you complete the TFA, it will take you to the Request Approval page. You will only see this the very first time you're adding MiTN to your MyLogin dashboard. And even though you see a message which makes it seem like you'll need to wait to access the application, it is instantaneous, so we can just click Continue. MiTN has now been successfully added to your MyLogin dashboard. So we're going to click on Michigan Transparency Network to launch the application. MiTN will always make you agree to the terms and conditions each time you log in. So check the box, click Launch Services, and provide your TFA verification. Please know this screen is not an error. This is the final handshake between MyLogin and MiTN and the last of the one-time setup steps. So we will go ahead and click Sign On. Going forward, the MiTN link will always be visible on your MyLogin dashboard page, and you'll only need to click on the MiTN link to launch the application and automatically be signed in. When you initially enter the electronic system, you will see three portals: committee, lobby, and personal financial disclosure. For this presentation, we'll be going through the lobby portal. The Michigan Lobby Registration Act only recognizes two entities that are required to register under the Act. These are lobbyists, who are the organizations or groups that spend money to lobby public officials, and lobbyist agents, who are the individuals that are paid, aka employed by, the lobbyists to influence the public officials. Okay, everyone hang with me on this slide. We're going to talk about the difference between a lobbyist agent, and an employee. So, a more detailed explanation is a lobbyist is a corporation, association, or any other type of organization that compensates or reimburses a lobbyist agent or other employee to lobby public officials. These expenditures are more than $3,175 during any 12-month period, or expends more than $800 during any 12-month period to lobby a single public officer, or who enters into a contract to receive more than this threshold during any 12-month period. Individuals usually meet the definition of a lobbyist agent rather than a lobbyist. So, our definition of a lobbyist agent is an individual, firm, or other type of organization that is compensated or reimbursed more than $800 during any 12-month period for lobbying public officials. An employee is a person employed, compensated, or reimbursed by a registrant for lobbying in excess of $32 during any 12-month period. This individual must be reported as a non-registered employee in MiTN by the lobbyist or lobbyist agent they are employed by. This individual, though, is not required to file as a non-registered employee themselves in MiTN or meet any filing requirements unless they do end up meeting the threshold for lobbyist or lobbyist agent. And at that time, they will go in and register based on which role they qualify for. Once you enter the MiTN module, you'll see the MiTN Lobby dashboard. This page provides you with a summary list of every lobbyist or lobbyist agent record that you are associated with and provides you with basic details of the registration. The home icon is located at the bottom of the page and looks like a house. This icon will redirect you back out of the main MiTN landing page. The other key feature on the lobby dashboard is the big green button that says Request Access, Create New Lobby. You can click on this button to request access to an existing registration or to create a new lobby registration. First, I will explain how to select your user role to a registration. To add a registration record to your lobby dashboard, you must request access to the registration. Once access is granted, the record will remain on your dashboard unless your access is removed by the registrant. When you request access to a lobbyist or lobbyist agent registration, you need to tell MiTN what type of user role you need. There are only two roles you can be. You're either going to be the lobby registrant or you are a lobby data entry user. Examples of a lobby registrant are going to be the signatory or an authorized employee listed in Section 7 of a registration, or who also a registered lobbyist or lobbyist agent. A lobby data entry user can be anyone. However, a data entry user will be restricted to inputting information only. They will not be able to certify, sign, or submit documentation or filings. Regardless of which role you choose, the process for requesting access is the same. Here's what it looks like in MiTN. You'll request access, click Create New Lobby. We will say yes, the registration for this lobbyist or agent has already been assigned a lobby ID. We'll go to the lobby lookup, and type in at least the first three characters of the registration you're looking for. You'll see that a list of all the registrations with the word test show up. I'm going to select test lobby org and click save and next. Now we're at the page where you decide if you're the registrant or the data entry user, but that is how you request access. We do need you all to know, currently the system is asking to upload a signed registration form for a registrant access request. Please know, everyone know, this will not remain the practice ongoing when you are requesting registrant access to an already active registration. A change request has already been sent to the developer to remove this requirement. In the interim, if you're requesting access to an already active registration, the BOE is recommending generating the registration from this page and uploading without a signature or uploading a blank document so you can complete the process for requesting access. Once this has been corrected by the developer, you will only see the certification box that you will need to check along with three buttons on the bottom of the screen, and it'll mirror what a data entry user sees. Once a registrant access request has been submitted, the request is routed to BOE for approval. Your lobby dashboard will reflect your access as pending. Once the access request has been approved, the user access will show as granted, and you will be able to click on the lobby record to open it. Here is what the final certification page looks like in MiTN when requesting registrant access to a lobby registration. We'll click Generate Registration. You'll see at the top right that the registration is downloaded. Open that up. And the pre-populated hard copy registration is shown here. If you are a first-time registrant setting up a lobby registration, you will need to print this, sign it using a wet signature, and then upload it. But again, if this is already an active registration, you just have to upload that document or a blank document. To upload, you click Choose File, select the file, certify, and click Submit. This is the final screen a data entry user will see. The data entry user will check the certification box to confirm the information that has been entered as truthful and accurate. You'll click Submit to send the request to the registrant for approval. I'm now demonstrating what a registrant sees when they're approving data entry. They'll click on Access from the lobby landing page, and you'll see that the request is in a queue. Click on Review, and that's where you choose yes or no to whether to give that person access or not to your registration. If you do not have an active registration, you will have to create a new lobby. Here's how this works in MiTN. Select Request Access, Create New Lobby. You will put no for this box, that this has not been previously registered. Save and next. You now will be asked a question if you were informed that you needed to register as a lobbyist or lobbyist agent. If you haven't, you'll select no and click Save and Next. This is where you'll be able to identify your lobby type, organization or individual, your lobby fiscal from and fiscal to dates, and then your lobby active date. I'm going to choose lobbyist agent as an individual, and I'm going to put my information. So my last name of Reed, my first name of Kara. I'm going to use January 1st through December 31st, 2025 as my fiscal year. Active date of 7/30/2025. You now are at the address page where you have to enter the required addresses, which is registrant mailing address, business address, and residential address. We'll start by entering the registrant mailing address. So I'll type in Reed, signatory first name Kara. I'm going to use the Bureau of Election address. You are required to have an email address. Even though this is not statutorily required, we need it on our end for the administrative correspondence that is sent to our registrants. You can click that the addresses are the same, click Save Address, and you can see that they are now at the top of the screen. Click Save and Next. This is the screen where you're able to add an employee. I am not going to add an employee doing this registration, so I will just click Save and Next. Once you enter the registration information, you are taken to the Access Role Request page. This is the identical screen for what a user sees when requesting access to an already active registration. Once you have access to your lobby registration, you are able to navigate to different tabs. I'm going to now take you through a deep dive into the features of the lobby dashboard. You'll see that at the top, we have lobby addresses, employees, filings, registrations. You can view notifications, view and pay fees, and then also the access request button that I showed you how to use earlier in this presentation. When you click addresses, it's going to show all the addresses that you had entered when you created your registration, any employees that you had added, your filings, which is your financial reports or correspondence, registrations, that is also where you will click to amend a registration. So for amending a registration, you will start by clicking on the registration that you want to amend. I'm going to amend the test lobby org. You will have to do an amendment once your registration has been submitted and you're an active lobbyist or agent. Once in the lobby registration, you'll click registrations and click amend registration. You'll be able to look at the lobby type, organization, your active date, and the lobby fiscal from and to dates. If nothing changes, click Save and Next. Again, you're able to review the addresses, Go through and make sure there has not been any changes. If there hasn't, you can click Save and Next. Now we're at the lobby employee page. I'm going to add a lobby employee for amending my registration. So I'll click Add Lobby Employee, choose lobbyist as the type, individual, and I'm going to enter Betty Boop. So I click the magnifying glass and I enter Boop into the search bar. What comes up is every registrant that has Boop in it. So I'm going to select the one that I'm looking for, verify that all the information is correct, and hit Save. You're then brought back to the lobby employee page. If all is accurate, click Save and Next. You're then brought to the registration submission page. Again, you'll generate the registration. It'll pop up on the right-hand side. You'll print it, you will sign it, and then you'll upload using the Choose file. Before you sign, you do want to review and make sure all the information is accurate, and you can see that employees was what changed on my registration. Once the signed document is uploaded, click Certify and Submit. I'm now going to show you how to prepare and submit a financial report. Once you have an active registration, you are required to submit the summer and winter financial reports. And here's a demonstration on how to complete this process. Once you're inside the lobby registration, you'll click Filings, click Submitted Filings, or I'm sorry, Add New Filing. Choose your document type. I'm going to use Financial Report, Summer Financial Report. I'll use July 30th as the date it was received, and I am going to choose 2024 as the statement year. Click Save and Next. This is where you are going to document if you've had any lobbying activity for this past reporting period. Select Yes, and you must document the activity that you had. If you click No, you do not have to put anything in there. I'm going to click Yes that I did. And I'm going to put lobbying activity to influence government. You'll mark the report submitted date, which I'm doing as 7/30/2025. And then you'll type in the amount that you expended for mass mailings and advertising, food and beverage for public officials, and other lobbying expenditures. I'm going to choose 500 for each category for this demonstration. Click Save and Next. We're now at the Itemize Expenditure page. If you do need to add itemized expenditures, you'll click on the green button on the left-hand middle part of this screen. You'll see that there is a drop-down that has the different types of expenditures, as well as a box to be able to describe it and then put the amount. Once you hit save and close, you go back to now a summary page where it'll say yes or no if you've had itemized expenditures attached and a summary of the information that you entered. Certify and click submit. So, what happens if you now have submitted your financial report and you realize that you need to make a change? I'm now going to show you how to amend a financial report. We're going to click on the lobby registration that we are going to amend the filing on. I'm going to choose Test Lobby Org. I'll then click Filings, click Submitted, and I'm going to select the 2024 Summer Financial Report. Click Amend Filing. And what I need to change is that I do not have the correct statement year. I should have used 2025. So this is where I make the change and click Save and Next. Please review everything that you entered to make sure that that is all accurate. And I actually remembered that mass mailings and advertising, I didn't have any expenditures. So I'm going to delete that field. Click Save and Next. You will see that I have an error because every field has to have something in it. So since I didn't have any mass mailings or advertising expenditure, I'm actually going to change this to 0 since something has to be in that field. Click Save and Next. This is where you'll see if there's any changes to the itemized expenditures that you entered or add any if you need to. Click Save and Next. You're once again brought to the summary page where you can review for accuracy, certify, and submit. The final process we'll review today is how to terminate a registration. A termination financial report is required to complete this request. A termination financial report can be filed at any time and does not have to follow the summer and winter filing schedule. But note, a report is not able to be accepted prior to the termination date. This way, the final filing summary captures all lobbying that was done up to the termination date. I'm going to show you now what terminating a registration looks like in MiTN. We'll click Filings, Add New Filing, Financial Report. This time we're going to choose Termination Financial Report. We'll use the date received as of July 30th, and then it's 2025. And I will also use the 30th as the termination date. Click Save and Next. This now brings you back to the page where you're able to summarize the expenditures that you had lobbying up until the termination and during the reporting period. I did not engage in any lobbying activity, so I will have zeros in all the fields. Click Save and Next. Because I did not have any expenditures, I also did not have any itemized expenditures to add. So I click Save and Next. Reviewing my summary page, everything is accurate. So I'm going to certify and click Submit. Once the termination financial report is submitted, a request goes to the Bureau of Elections to review and approve the termination. As long as there's no outstanding fees or issues, the Bureau of Elections is able to approve that termination. Okay, so this concludes the presentation. Are there any questions that have not been answered yet in the chat that our lobby team can answer for you now?
I think before we go into live questions, let's address the ones. I'm sorry, this is Heidi Lowen. I am the manager of the lobby PFD section here at the Bureau. I think what we want to do is go through and we're going to have Sarah sort of tee up some of these questions that I bet you everybody probably has from the chat. And then we will segue into additional questions that don't get picked up through that. So Sarah?
Okay. So one of the questions we received is, would a lobbying entity want to use a MyLogin account for citizens or business? And would the agents who are Michigan citizens need a separate account from the business they're lobbying under? So regarding the MyLogin, it's your own discretion which MyLogin platform you use. They will function the same. Whichever one you choose, though, is the one that you need to stick with. If you log into business and then go and log into the citizen, it's going to treat you as a different entity, and you're going to end up starting all over. Another question, we had a couple about the blank registration form to upload. As mentioned, that is a temporary thing. The current system, when you request access for a registrant, is asking you to upload a lobby registration form. That is not required. We've already submitted this information to the developer and it is being corrected. But in the meantime, you can either upload the blank registration form or even just a blank document in general, just to be able to complete that process. Regarding the lobby fiscal years, that's based on your organization. That date could be different for everybody. There's no magic number for that. So if you're unsure, I would recommend checking with someone on what your lobby fiscal dates are. Does a lobbying entity need to update or amend their registration every January? No. You only need to update or amend your registration when there's a change. And that would require the form with a signature from the signatory. Let's see, what other common questions?
If I can add to that for a second, Sarah.
Yeah, go ahead.
If you're asking, like, do you need to sign every single time like that? If you're talking about that one time when you first come into the system and you're requesting access, that's what we're having fixed right now, and that is going to be going
Correct.
away. You will not need to sign in those instances. So in the future, it'll be exactly like it was before in statute, where if anything about your registration changes, you're adding or removing an employee, you're changing your address, you want to identify a new authorized signatory, doesn't matter what it is, you'll have to sign your amended registration when you submit it in MiTN.
Thank you, Heidi. This presentation will be available on our lobby webpage. So for anybody that missed any portions of it, or if you would like to review a certain part of the presentation, it will be available on our website. I believe so we had a question too about the signatory and amending a registration when you're changing the signatory. The example given was the former signatory has retired from the company. So the new signatory would simply amend the registration and sign that form. You will check the form will indicate that the signatory is what is being changed, and we will update that in the system. Employees being removed, added or removed, would be during either if it's a new registration, you can do it in that step, or you can do it when amending your registration. I think those are most of the common questions we were getting. I don't know if we want to go ahead and open it up now for any questions that we have not answered yet. I know they're coming in pretty quickly here.
All right, how about Teresa? And if you can say who you're with.
Okay, perfect. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yep, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Okay, my name is Teresa and I'm with Scofis and Associates Consulting. My question is regarding the signatory. Part one of that is please define the signatory, because normally what we would do is have the client sign off as the signatory since we don't work for their org. And so they would be the signatory for their organization. So I think my concern now is how would this impact filings? And if it has to be that the signatory has to now file, I mean, is there a way to have the system to where there's a third party that's able to file on behalf of our clients? Because technically, I'm not a signatory for a client that we represent.
Okay, so the answer to that is found in statute. So which is also part of the rules that have been promulgated in the Lobby Act for many, many years. So registration forms, this is reading straight out of the rules. Registration forms must be filed and signed by the lobbyist or lobbyist agent who is required to file a registration under the Act. The only exception to the requirement to personally sign your own registration form is if the lobbyist or lobbyist agent is not an individual. Then an authorized individual must sign that registration form on behalf of the agent. For lobbyists, the lobby report must be filed and signed by the lobbyist, or the lobbyist may have the lobbyist agent who acts on their behalf file the report. But for lobbyist agents, the lobbyist agent acting on their own behalf must sign the lobby report. A lobbyist agent who is an individual cannot delegate their responsibility to sign their lobby report to another individual. If a lobbyist or lobby agent is not an individual, an authorized individual must sign the report on behalf. I know that sounds confusing, but it's actually straight out of the lobby rules that this is not a MiTN thing. I know that there's a lot of confusion about this, but with two-factor authentication being what it is, we are essentially just enforcing the existing statutory rules as they have always been. I understand that that is a problem if folks had been signing for other people. Now, that's why we have a data entry user role that exists inside of MiTN so that you can still prepare those reports for them. You can do all the work of it, but it's pressing that submit button that indicates that they have signed it themselves, that we need to do it that way. And it's just a statutory requirement that it has to
So,
be that way.
so then essentially then to make sure everybody's in compliance, then basically moving forward and for every other lobby registration that we have, we would basically have to amend those registrations to now reflect whoever is going to be filing on their behalf.
So I can't tell you how to structure your authorized signatories, but if let me use an example though, okay? It might be easier. Um, let's say that, you got a multi-client lobby firm, okay?
Mhm.
That multi-client lobby firm has a coordinator that does all of their filings for all of their in-house agents as well as their um, client lobbyists and their client lobbyist agents. Those are sort of the big three
Yeah.
buckets,
Yeah.
okay? So when it comes to, let's break that down. So if you are the lobby coordinator or compliance coordinator for your firm, and you are yourself the authorized signatory for your firm, then any of the organizations, non-individuals within your contractual world, whoever your clients are, though all of the lobbyists, you will be able to directly as a registrant, provided that that registered lobbyist has your firm listed on line 7 as a lobby of
Mhm.
their registration,
Mhm.
and provided that you are the signatory for your lobby firm. You do not need to be the owner of the lobby firm. You just have to be the name that appears on line 8. That is what is considered in statute a authorized signatory. Then you'll be able to sign for all of your clients. As far as the individual agents go, however, you will need to instruct them as to how to set up access inside of MiTN for themselves, and then they can designate you as their data entry user. Once you are a data entry user, you can go in and you can do everything for them in terms of preparing the report. You just They have to submit it themselves. That is the only step that you cannot do yourself.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
it's no different than like when you first set up an e-lobby for your client under the old system. You still had to set up an e-lobby account. So you've got to do that one-time setup in MiTN just the same.
Thank you.
hmm let's see. How about Valerie at Stellantis?
Hi, thank you for this presentation. You mentioned in the very beginning that you are able to put other state services on your dashboard. So if a lobbyist agent registers as a citizen, how do they keep their work? They are filing this lobby report as part of their job as a lobby agent. How do they keep that separate from, I'll just call it from their private life, from any state services that they interact with privately outside of work? How is there a way to create two dashboards under the same name?
So I want to be really clear in how we answer this, that Um, this is not an issue that Mitten itself cares about. And I think you know that. I don't think that's necessarily the question you're asking. But um, there are three actual different types of My Login platforms. There's My Login for workers, which we use on the back end for all state employees, which, by the way, state employed lobbyists, you will use that to access Mitten. Okay. But that's only for people who are lobbyists that work for the agencies. Okay. That aside, there are two platforms that the public can use. There is My Login for citizens and there's My Login for business. They both follow the same exact instructions that Kara laid out for us, and they both come into the Mitten platform exactly the same way, and it makes no difference to Mitten which one you choose to use. Okay. As far though as why both of those exist is because you can't have two different people inside of one My Login dashboard. So if you are yourself as an individual, as a private person, and you are choosing to then have you as an individual person as like a separate business entity from your private life, that's a circumstance where you may choose to have two different My Logins. But what that means is that if you have My Login, maybe that's the one you go to like renew your license plates or check on your tax return, you will not be able to access Mitten from it and be seen as the same person if you did than you would be if you are also logging into Mitten as under a My Login for business account. It will see you as a whole different person, which Kara addressed in the presentation. That's how you get treated as like what you're describing is like two different people. Does that answer your question, Valerie?
Yes.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other? Because I'm going to go back to letting Sarah do her magic here and take lead on these questions. But when it does come to like the My Login or who can sign on the forms, that Ash, do we have any other questions specifically to that? I do see that we've got two other hands up, Gary and Ann, so I'll be recognizing you. But if does anyone have a question related specifically to My Login access? Okay, does anybody have any questions related to um, who can who is an authorized signatory and therefore a registrant versus who is a data entry user and can prepare reports but not submit? Okay, then I think we're going to go on to Gary, and I'm going to like step back and get these turned over to Sarah again.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Good. Okay. Two-part question. So in the January launch, I went through my login. I'm a lobbyist agent. I got my registration reports filed. I data entry for my clients, got theirs filed. Um, will I need to reconnect, re-enter data and information for that, or am I going to still be in the system and all wired up to my clients' accounts? Or do I have to reestablish all of that?
Nope, that should all remain the same. So if you already registered and received that access to the accounts that you needed access to in January, you should still have those access.
Okay, and the second part of my question is the real struggle bus in January was getting confirmations that reports were filed and to getting some sort of summary report back, like the old PDF forms that I could provide to my clients showing what was filed and confirmation that it was filed on time. Is there going to be a function to do that?
There is not a function we have in place as of yet, but that is an update that we are going to be doing because yes, that should is something that you all should be provided. And we can definitely confirm via email if needed that we received a filing. You will also be able to see on your dashboard in the filings, it'll say that your report has been submitted. It'll change. There's a submitted status. And then once we've reviewed and approved the report, it'll change to reviewed.
Okay, that sounds very much like the way it was, in January, where basically you just had a whole bunch of lines of records of reports and amended reports and whatnot. So that's what we're going to have again.
Yes, but that is going to, like I said, that is going to be changed. We are working on an update for that, but it is currently the same.
Thank you.
All right. Do we have oh, got
I
one more
thought we had
hand.
oh yeah, we have Quentin. I thought there was one other hand up before, but it seems like it went down. Feel free to put your hand back up again, whoever you were, if you do have additional questions. But in the meantime, we're going to go to Quentin.
Hi there. This is Quentin Turner with Common Cause. And my question is if a lobbyist entity is registered in MiTN under one type of login, let's say the citizen login, is there a process for them to switch to a business login for purposes of wanting to use the citizen one for like um, personal matters like was mentioned earlier with like vehicle registration and whatnot. Like, is it possible to switch between the two somehow or transfer data between the two login platforms? Or once you're on one, are you kind of stuck? And in order to move to the other, you have to start from scratch.
If you move to the other, you will be starting from scratch, where you would have to, you're going to go through the whole adding MiTN to that My Login platform and then having to request access to your lobby record that you need access for. But you can definitely do that if you want to keep those separate, like you said, personal and business life. But yes, you would be essentially starting from scratch regarding getting access to those records.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yep, no problem. Any other questions at all? I don't see any hands right now.
I think Quentin might have had a previous question on fiscal years. Maybe it wasn't Quentin.
I did, but it was answered earlier that we
Okay,
use our
great.
organizational fiscal year. So I appreciate that as well.
Yeah, great, thank you. So make sure it was answered.
Okay, looks like Brenda Yates has a question.
Good afternoon, and thank you for taking my question. The question that I have is, can I prepare the financial report outside of the platform, have it executed, and then inside the platform upload it? Or do I have to use the form that is generated inside the platform?
It's going to be the same form. I don't know, Heidi, if you have any preference. I mean, it's going to be the same form, so I don't think there would be an issue. I don't see an issue with doing it that way. I don't know if you have any comment on that, Heidi.
As far as the uploading of the form, if you had that pre-executed and you uploaded it, The only issue is going to be that you have to key the data in off of it. And if that data doesn't match upon review, you're going to get a request for clarification or potentially an error and omission notice.
Yeah.
The other thing is that that form that you have to enter into MiTN, even if you have the uploaded version pre-signed, you would still need to have your client, if they're an individual, if you are not an authorized signatory for them, you would still need them to submit the document themselves. So keep that in mind. And then the final caveat or warning I'll put on that is that once we have MiTN fully built out and it's, got all the bells and whistles that folks are looking for here. So probably, in early 2026, we're going to be starting to transition to electronic only. And so I don't know that that's going to be a sustainable system for you long term. So
Yeah,
just keep that in mind.
that would be much better anyway. The old system was electronic, and I kind of feel like we're going back in time a little bit by having to load have the document, have the financial report actually executed and then upload it. It seems a bit archaic in comparison to e-lobby, where we just keyed in all the data and then it was electronically signed.
So I can see where you're coming from, but it's sort of a six of one, half dozen another because of the financial reports. You guys did not individually sign those in the past. I get that. But you also had no way other than paper to file all of your registrations. Those were always being done by emailing us and being done on paper. And the registrations are a very, very heavy lift electronically. And so, once we get this to where it's all electronic, I think you'll have the best of both worlds.
That sounds good. Thank you.
Tanya has her hand up now.
Tanya, go ahead and unmute.
I'm so sorry. I was looking at my other screen, so I didn't see that the mute button was on. My apologies. This is Tanya Donalty from Xerox, and I just submitted an amended registration and printed out the form, but the system timed me out, and I'm the only reason why I'm doing this here is because I think other people may have the same problem. How do I go back and upload the form? Um, since it's timed me out, it doesn't look like I can go back into the submitted amendment and resubmit the form.
There's a draft status or a draft tab next to the submitted tab. And any drafts should be saved in there.
It didn't save it. It actually shows up as a full-on red. If I go to registrations, not filings, there's no draft folder. I just have all of the registrations listed, and it says amended with today's date, but if you click on it, you can't upload. I just was thinking other people may end up with the same problem because if they have someone that's preparing the amendment and printing it out and then getting someone else to sign it, they're going to run into the same issue.
Let me see here. Let's pull it up.
You might
Bill,
want
while I'm looking at this, do you have any
let me jump in. Sarah, you might want to
Yeah,
look
go
at that offline and then
I
get
will.
back to
Yeah.
Tanya on that one so that we can keep asking questions as needed.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Because
sorry, I
that
didn't
was
want to
very,
hold anybody up. I just thought that potentially would affect other people as well. So that's why
it's
I
a good
brought it up.
question. Thank
Yeah.
you.
It is. Yeah. Do you have any other questions at all?
I don't see any other hands up.
Kara, do you want to advance the slide I am assuming you have like a final like contact page, or do you want to put it back to another, whatever? Yes, there we go. Maybe we could still continue to take any questions if anyone has them, but just in case, I wanted people to be able to see that and capture anything off of it. We'll also repeat, I know we said this early on and in the chat, but we will be posting this online on our lobby. I know a lot of you have the like lobby search pages bookmarked, but please also bookmark our lobby homepage where we put up a lot of helpful information, including the recording of these webinars. Any other questions? Okay, well, I think we'll turn it back over to Kara here for,
Brenda raised her hand again
oh,
if you want to.
yes, Brenda. Brenda, if you're talking, you're muted.
Apologies, forgot to hit that unmute button. So in January, we went through the process and we got set up on MiTN. And so I'm looking at one of the entities that I work with, and I'm looking for their to view their actual registration. So they had an amended registration in 23. I don't want to amend it. I just want to view it to make sure everything is applicable still. So where do I view that? I'm looking at filings at the top, and it doesn't show me anything. I'm looking at all their various information, and it doesn't show me the actual document. Will it show the documents? So obviously back in 23, the registration would have been, and it still is, a hard copy that gets sent in until 26, when you mentioned that there will be changes. So are you going to have the ability to view those historical documents, those historical PDF documents? Or is everything going to be an electronic line item?
Sarah, do you want to take a crack at either I don't know if this is something we should get back with her about, or if you already can, speak to it, but it seems like there may also be an issue here where like in the e-lobby system you could file electronically. So I'm not certain. Do you know if you actually filed a paper copy?
For the financial reports, no, but for the registration forms, yes. We had to mail them in. And I know, so what I'm looking at online for under filings, and I'm looking at submitted, and all I see are the financial reports, but I don't see that actual registration. I do see when I go under the tab registrations, I see the amended registration. And I also see the lobby registration that we did in January as a line item, but I would like to view the document to make sure that we don't have any changes that are necessary.
Yeah, and I think that's what's Sarah, can you address what the timeline is on that? Because I think that is actually having them populate onto an online reporter. Uh, isn't that teed up here or something? I don't want to misspeak. Um,
I don't think it is teed up. So the way it's set up right now is yes, it's just a line item and going through each tab. Obviously, like the lobby tab will show you your active date, fiscal year, the name, and then addresses, employees, all that. But yeah, I think that would probably be a good feature to add as an actual documents tab for the with the ability to view any documents that have been filed.
yeah, I know it's something that had come up before. I just wasn't certain if we were how we are addressing it. There obviously with any type of enterprise level platform like this, I mean you know you've got to do it in phases, so sometimes it's hard to know what is a future phase versus what is a uh, on the wish list, but you know the we are moving away from the paper and to the
Mhm.
electronic, so the goal is that you know the whether it's through public search, whether it's you verifying your previous forms, that you can go into the mitten system and then pull up the line by lines and look through them all. But we are, you know, we have heard from people that still being able to see it on the paper is sometimes helpful. So I know it's been discussed and we can continue having that. I just sounds like based on what Sarah's saying, we would need to um, look at whether that is actually something that's feasible or if there's technologically, I mean, it is, like I said, we're moving away from paper as, you know, time goes by.
Heidi, are you able to hear me? Can you hear me, Heidi?
Now I can, yes.
Oh, thank goodness. I actually have been talking for a while and I do have the answer to that. I just
Oh, okay.
get my microphone to work. So we did notice that this is a need for the system. Currently, right now, to view a filing, you do have to click the amend button, which we know is not going to work. So we've already contacted the developer to have an additional button on that screen when you click on a filing to have it view filing. We don't have a date yet when it's going to be implemented, but that has already been verified as a need.
Thanks for that update, Kara. I know we had talked about it and I know it comes up, but you know, I wasn't certain if it had actually been teed up or not. That was the part that, or whether it was still being debated as to the feasibility and long-term you know, goals. Thank you, Kara. See, that's why she is the in charge today.
Thank you both. I truly appreciate you.
Well, we are here for questions, or we can let you go and give you back 11 minutes. So I'm going to do a last call for questions.
Please also note that we are available via email. You can see it on this screen at financialdisclosure@michigan.gov. With it being the filing month, We are going to have in-office hours if needed, and we're available to troubleshoot either via phone or the email. We always recommend email because we can get back to you quicker.
This is Quentin from Common Cause again. When are the office hours?
We're in the office from 8 to 4, Monday through Friday.
Please note, however, that we are in a if you come to the Austin building in person, we are temporarily relocated because there's some renovation going on in our usual first floor location. So if you can let us know that you're coming, that would be awesome so that we can come down and greet you. Otherwise, just let them know you're here to see the bureau and they'll call up and we can come get you.
Thank
Thank
you
you
for
so
adding.
much. You said email is the best way to get in touch with you guys?
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, with that, I'm going to thank everybody for coming today. And like we said, if you do have additional questions, if things come up while you're filing, please reach out to us and let us know. And also, if we're open, we would love to hear your suggestions on how we can continue to, make this a better product for you in the future. So we're here for you. And have a great day, everyone.